Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here for KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Whitney Ward. We begin tonight as the suspect accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students is on his way back to Idaho. We are bringing you team coverage today as we await the arrival of suspect Bryan Kohberger. Tonight, our team is sharing the latest on what we can expect once he arrives back in Idaho. We've got new body camera footage that details more on 2 traffic stops that happened during Kohberger's trip from Idaho, supposedly to Pennsylvania. Janelle Finch talked with students on the Palouse about how they are feeling about the suspect's arrival, along with our Shannon Mowdy getting attorney's perspective on this case. First, though, our Amanda Rowley is in Moscow tonight with what we know about the suspect's arrival at this hour. So from the moment that suspect was taken into custody in Pennsylvania, KREM 2 has been tracking his transport back to Idaho to face charges. So here is what we know at this hour. Take a look. This is a flight tracker that is showing a Pennsylvania State Police aircraft that took off earlier this morning, steadily making its way across the country toward Idaho. It has already made stops in Illinois and South Dakota throughout the day. You can see right now it is in Wyoming or close to it. We have had a crew waiting outside at the Latah County Jail since early this morning, awaiting that suspect's arrival. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley is joining us live from the jail right now. She's explaining what we can expect after Bryan Kohberger is booked into jail. Amanda?
Well, good evening, Whitney. As you mentioned, just over 24 hours ago, the Moscow murder suspect waived his extradition hearing in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, and is now en route to Idaho. As you mentioned, he is now flying over Wyoming, and we are continuing to track the whereabouts of the suspect. Once he arrives here in Idaho, we expect he'll be brought here to Latah County Jail and taken into where that gray garage door is by law enforcement to then begin the booking process. I've been here waiting for his arrival since early this afternoon, and right next to me I'm surrounded by several other media outlets all waiting on the same thing. Now, right now, what we do know is that once Bryan Kohberger arrives at the Latah County Jail, his booking information and mugshot will be posted on the jail's website. When that happens, he will formally be charged with 4 counts of murder and 1 count of burglary, according to the Latah County prosecutor. That prosecutor, Bill Thompson, previously explained what we can expect in upcoming court proceedings.
Once he gets here, he'll have an initial appearance with our magistrate. They'll deal with issues such as making sure competent counsel is representing him, and the case will be scheduled for further hearings.
Now, we do also know that the magistrate judge, Megan Marshall, presides over the county's initial appearance docket. So what that means is as long as Kohberger gets booked into Latah County Jail today, he should be in court for his initial appearance tomorrow morning. Now, in that hearing, he will be informed of his charges, but he does not have to enter a plea. During that hearing, they will also schedule the preliminary hearing, which is the next step in this proceeding. Now, looking ahead, we are expecting to learn more details about Kohberger's arrest once the search warrant has been returned to the court and unsealed. It's been sealed since it's been executed at the crime scene. Now, we also know that meantime, the magistrate judge yesterday issued an order that's called a non-dissemination order, and that means investigators, law enforcement, and attorneys associated with this investigation are now prohibited from speaking with the media about this case any further. That is until that order is lifted. We are staying in close contact with law enforcement, gathering any updates that they can share once that order has gotten lifted. For now, we'll remain watchful eyes here on the jail, but for now, we'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Where are you headed?
We're going to actually,
Well, we're coming from WSU. And you're going where? Oh. We're going to be going to Pennsylvania. Oh, okay.
So we are continuing to track the suspect's arrival currently. We now have new body cam footage of a traffic stop in Indiana after receiving several videos yesterday from a different traffic stop. These are all of Kohberger's vehicle during his trip from Washington to Pennsylvania. Our Mark Hanrahan is in the newsroom tonight here, or actually in the studio here with us, about what we know about those traffic stop videos. Hi, Mark.
Hi, good afternoon, Whitney. Yesterday we showed you video from an Indiana state trooper who stopped Kohberger for following too closely. Well, tonight we are seeing using more body camera footage from a different stop that, as it turns out, happened just before, also in Indiana. In the video, you can see a deputy with the Hancock County Sheriff's Office approach the white Elantra, similar to the one that investigators have been searching for. The deputy then says Kohberger and his father were pulled over for following too closely. But something to note about this video is the date and time, December 15th, and it starts at 10:41 a.m. This new video was the first traffic stop of that day. Kohberger was also stopped just 9 minutes later at 10:50 a.m. by an Indiana State Police trooper, again, also for allegedly following too closely. These two stops on December 15th happened about 8 days after the Moscow Police Department started asking the public for information about a white Elantra spotted near the crime scene. For their part, the Indiana State Police told us yesterday that at the time, the trooper had no information about the crime or a search for a car in connection with the Idaho case. So with Kohberger behind the wheel, you can actually hear him bring up a SWAT standoff in Pullman that happened earlier that same morning.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that incident. Just yesterday, or?
This happened this morning. About an hour and a half ago. They're still wrapping it up for investigating. I'm not sure there's two shootings because they did shoot somebody.
Let's see.
And then you don't know about that actually. They were apparently shooting out of the window or something.
Interesting.
So of note, it appears that Kohberger was not ticketed for both traffic stops. So to recap, murder suspect Bryan Kohberger was stopped twice in 9 minutes while he was in Indiana as he drove across the country roughly 2 weeks before he was arrested. If you'd like to watch both of those body camera videos in their entirety, you can just head to our website, KREM.com. Whitney?
Thank you very much. And just as Kohberger is arriving in Idaho, students at the University of Idaho will also be arriving back from the holiday break. Our Janelle Finch went down to Moscow today to speak with some of those students, getting their reactions to this investigation and the new developments of the suspect's imminent arrival there back on the Palouse. Janelle, what are people saying there on campus today?
Whitney, I spoke to at least 15 students on campus today, and while most wouldn't go on camera, off camera, they tell me they're relieved with this development. They say they feel better about coming back to campus with potentially more answers than when they left. When 4 University of Idaho students were murdered last November, campus was immediately affected. From canceled classes to students going home early for the semester, students ended the year unsure of what they'd be coming back to. But just as Moscow police say the arrest of Bryan Kohberger launched a new beginning of the investigation, people at U of I are also hoping for a fresh start in the upcoming semester. Seth Seipel is returning to campus after a semester abroad. Despite being hundreds of thousands of miles away, he says even he couldn't escape the news.
Having something like that happen to where I even heard about it from my school abroad, I mean, it's a big deal, and I couldn't imagine what people actually living on campus are going through, but having this wrap up before the next semester begins, I think, is a really good transition and turning point for everyone here. They're ready to start the beginning of this semester as they're fresh.
Seipel says in light of the tragic events that occurred while he was away, he says he was inspired by how campus came together to support one another and are continuing to lean on each other as the case develops. He says he's looking forward to finishing out his final semester on campus. University of Idaho students are set to return after winter break 1 week from today. And even though some are feeling relieved with the information of Kohberger's arrest, for others, that doesn't erase the feelings felt when 4 students were initially murdered just steps from campus. One Vandal mom I spoke to says her daughter's mental health was completely shattered and she won't be returning for the semester. And she may not even be back on campus until next fall. In Moscow, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
All right, Janelle, thank you very much. And the strides being made in this case come as the community continues to remember those 4 University of Idaho students whose lives were lost. Those 4 students were 20-year-old Ethan Chapin. He was a freshman from Conway, Washington, over on the west side. Xana Kernodle, she was a junior from Post Falls. 21-year-old Madison Mogan, a senior from Coeur d'Alene. Xana and Madison worked together at a restaurant in downtown Moscow. And 21-year-old Kaylee Gonsalves was a senior from Rathdrum. She was a sorority member and already had a job lined up for after graduation. Just a month ago, a vigil was held for those victims where the parents all spoke about their love that they had for their children.
The world is a darker place without them, but the light of their love and memories will always guide us all. Maddie has truly been a blessing in our lives. Watching her grow and mature into the amazing woman she become is truly priceless in our hearts.
Santa, you will not be forgotten. You have impacted so many lives and have given people so much love. I hope I can make you proud and try to leave an impact on this world and on people like you did.
If you knew Ethan, he was never angry about anything. He would never get upset. You couldn't upset him ever.
We're just heartbroken, and we know it's just going to take time for everybody to heal. If that's possible. I just pray that it is.
So we know this continues to be a developing story, and of course we will bring you updates as we continue to learn more. For all of our ongoing coverage though on this story, you can just text us the word Idaho to 509-448-2000 and we'll send that link right to your phone. We will have more on this story, but now we want to take a quick break from the headlines and check in on the forecast. We could see a little bit of a wintry mix tomorrow. Our meteorologist Michelle Boss is joining us here in the Weather Center tonight. Hi, Michelle.
Hi. Yeah, not a whole lot to worry about. And we had sunshine today and it was glorious out there, but we do have a little bit more active weather on the way. So let's go right to satellite and radar and see what's out there. Partly cloudy, mostly cloudy skies right now in Spokane. We're starting to see the clouds thicken back up, but you can see some precipitation out towards the Cascades, just starting to push into the Yakima area. It's going to be that area where they see the most accumulating snow and ice, and even then it's still going to be on the light side. Winter weather advisories for those areas shaded in purple, including the Wenatchee area down through Ellensburg, Snoqualmie and Stevens Pass down through Yakima. Looking for 2 to 4 inches of snow in Wenatchee. Ilmac will probably get some light accumulations as well. They are not in the advisory. And then as you head south of I-90, you could see a little mixture of some light ice accumulations as well. That advisory continues through the day. Tomorrow, Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, we're kind of in the clear though. We are going to see a little bit of mixture of light freezing rain, light snow, and then just plain old rain, but amounts again are going to be very light. 32 right now in Spokane, 31 in Coeur d'Alene, and a mix of low to mid 30s across the rest of the region. Here's the short-term forecast. We'll see mostly cloudy skies tonight as temperatures actually hover in the middle and upper 20s. That light wintry mix tomorrow should only cause minor problems in the morning, and then temperatures above freezing in the afternoon should mitigate any additional problems, and then temperatures in the upper 30s with a chance of rain showers on the way for the weekend.